Hey, my dog lovers, stop picking hairs off your jumper and listen up. The National Dog Survey from Dogs Trust is back, and whether you have your own dog or just admire them from afar, we want the full scoop. From the joyful moments that make you laugh to the soggy splashed-filled ones you'd rather not relive. Just 15 minutes today could make a huge difference for the nation's dogs of tomorrow. Join our muddy-trousered community by searching Dogs Trust National Dog Survey.
We love our pets. They're our best friends as we navigate life's ups and downs with a wag or a purr just when we need it. The Royal Veterinary College is there for our pets, home to Europe's largest small animal referrals hospital, with over 200 specialists providing expert care 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The bond between a pet and their person is worth fighting for, and that's the belief that inspired the RVC Memory Tree, a beautiful handmade sculpture standing in the heart of the RVC Small Animal Referrals Hospital, adorned with gold, silver and copper leaves, each one engraved with the name of a beloved pet, and each one funding the extraordinary work happening there every day. For just £10 a month, you can dedicate a leaf in the name of your pet, celebrating your pet's life, whilst also helping to fund life-saving treatment and care for animals in need. Visit rvcact.com/memory tree to dedicate a leaf today and let your pet's memory live on.
Hello, and welcome to It's a Fandom Thing. I'm your host, Erin Marlowe, and each week I'm joined by a panel of guests to discuss all things fandom and pop culture, primarily from a female perspective. You'll find everything from fanfic to cosplay to Schitt's Creek to Supernatural and everything in between. So put on your favorite piece of fandom merch, set aside that fanfic that you're writing about your OTP, and sit back and enjoy this week's episode. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Pop Culture and Fandom News. I'm your host, Erin Marlowe, and on Friday's episode, we are talking about the movie Bound. And I really thought we weren't going to be able to talk about it, and this would have been like my second time canceling it because no one signed up. But then my podcast brain twin, Jenn, from my streaming bubble, and also my co-host of the podcast we co-host together, Twin It to Win It, jumped in and saved the day. So hello, Jenn.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, gosh, too kind. Too kind. Oh, my goodness.
I forgot about it because I have to say, the problem with StreamYard with those sound effects is unless I download the whole recording, it does not recognize it as a separate track. Oh. So like when I did it with Drunk History, I had to download the whole recording and I'm like, oh my God. I was like chopping and cutting and pasting from so many different ones. So I'm like, well, I guess I can't do that. I'll have to figure out some other way to do it. But
oh, that's a bummer. So dumb.
I agree. But welcome, Jenn. I'm so glad to have you here this week. Thank you for being my superhero.
You are so very welcome. I'm happy to be a part of this. So,
well, before we talk about Bound, we are going to talk about some pop culture and fandom news. So, Jenn, what is one thing in pop culture or fandom that you want to talk about?
Okay. So I kind of have two things, but I'll make the second thing super duper quick. So the first thing that pop culture and everything that I'm into is I have been rewatching Sailor Moon, because on a lot of those like streaming TV apps like Roku, because our living room TV is a Samsung, it comes pre-installed with like Samsung streaming channels. And so a lot of those have just a Sailor Moon channel. And so I've been rewatching Sailor Moon, which has been a ton of fun because I was into it in the 90s, but it was the American dubbed version. So I'm listening to like watching the original dubbed version where Neptune and Uranus are not cousins. They actually get to be a couple. So, because I watched like an edit the other day on TikTok where it was the American dubbed. And so the two Sailor Scouts are talking like they're cousins. But like the Southern kind of cousins. You know what I mean? Like the kissing cousins. So this is much better. And I have really, really been enjoying that because I was really into like the first 2 seasons in the 90s, but like I don't think they really aired the 3rd season, Super S, much, or they didn't release all the episodes or like the dubbing and everything with the 2 Sailor Scouts. So I'm not as familiar with Super S. So that's been a lot of fun. And then they played the movies. And then on Vudu or Fandango or Fandango, if you're not a weirdo like my family, on June 12th, the entire series of Sailor Moon will be available as a bundle. And I got it in my head that it's going to be reasonably priced. I have no idea, but I'm just like, if it's reasonably priced, I might have to get it. My childhood all available on streaming. So that is the one thing I'm like super duper into. And the honorable mention is that it's summer. Summer reading is going on at your local library. So make sure you check your local library for fun events, programs, speakers. It's a big whole like National Library theme thing. This year it's Unearth a Story. So a lot of dinosaur themed stuff probably at your library. So if you love dinosaurs like I do as a 45-year-old woman, and I've been super pumped for the summer reading program since last year, definitely follow up with your local library and see what kind of programs they got going on. There, done.
Okay, you're forgiven then for having like 2 things because I'm like, oh, I see. She's trying to get away with having 2 things. But you're forgiven because that was a cool thing to mention. So.
Yes, I knew library talk would be allowed. I'm like, she can't. That's how I got all the votes the one year for your streaming because no one wanted to vote against libraries.
It's true. The power.
The power of the library.
Well, mine is also nostalgic. I went yesterday and saw Trainspotting on the big screen again in honor of its, I hate saying this part, but in honor of its 30th anniversary. That movie is 30 years old, which is just like, no, that's not okay.
How is it old and like a bebe at the same time? Because like 30-year-olds I look at as bebes, but that's wild. But that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so it was a ton of fun seeing it on the big screen again. I haven't watched it in so long. We were going to cover that this year, actually. We might cover it during my birthday month, but we were going to cover it for our Gen X movie month, but it wasn't streaming anywhere, and it wasn't rentable anywhere, and it was probably at the library somewhere, but it's so hard to get that movie. So we changed our schedule. But it was so much fun, and I had forgotten. I remembered, but I had kind of forgotten how amazing that soundtrack is. That is top 5 best soundtracks ever. So now I'm just listening to that on repeat because I was like, every song that would play in the movie, I'm like, oh my gosh, this song. Oh my gosh, I forgot about this song. Oh my gosh, I forgot about this one. Because of course, like Lust for Life, the Iggy Pop song and a couple others. But like there were some that I was like, oh, I forgot about this song. So that was probably the most fun. That was probably the funnest part of it. I did forget how dark that movie was in parts, like the baby and because when it started, I'm like, oh yeah, something happens to that baby, doesn't it? And then I was like, oh my God, this is really dark. But it was funny too. It's darkly humorous. And I saw it at the Alamo, and the pre-show was hilarious because they had so many say no to drug ads. They had the one, I don't remember if you remember this one, Jen, because I went with Sarah. Both me and Sarah were like, oh my gosh, I remember watching this one. They played the PB Herman crack one.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my God.
I forgot about that. I'm going to have to look that up and watch that, see if I can find it because, oh my God.
I know. I was like, oh, I forgot all about this one. And then they did this one thing and Sarah and I were like, never heard of this. It was something having to do with Glasgow, and there was a Glasgow football team or something. So there was the Glasgow rap song that was done, and it was absolutely hysterical. And I guess it was like a cult classic song and all these other things, this song about beer. So it was really that's what is special about the Alamo. Yes, I'm still upset with them, like extremely upset with them. Thank you, Elijah Wood, for being such a champion of the Alamo. He just recently posted, because he went there for the first time since the QR ordering system has been installed and implemented, and he went off on it. And he's been one of the few celebrities I've seen actually talk about it, which is kind of cool. And so I'm mad at them about that, but I still, even with that, I can't bring myself to go to another theater because so far, knock on wood, it's pretty much been okay. And I also the pre-shows. I mean, other theaters, you get 30 minutes of commercials.
Yeah.
And then Nicole Kidman, and that's fine, but
no, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
At the Alamo, you get a curated, thing. And that's one of the joys of going to the Alamo. That's why people show up early, to see what weird stuff is going to be before the movie. Before Obsession, they had all of these video dates, old video date things, video profiles that were hilarious. And so it's stuff like that you don't get at a regular theater. So even though I'm really mad at the Alamo, it was nice seeing that pre-show because of those hysterical things.
Yeah.
Especially that Pee Wee Herman one. I was like, oh my God, I forgot all about this.
Oh my God. I completely forgot all about it. So that was I'm going to have to write that down. Pee Wee crack. Wait, no.
Because he's sitting there in a director's chair, and the light comes on really bright, and then he's got the little vial.
Yep.
It's so funny. We were laughing so hard, Sarah and I.
I love it. It's hilarious.
It was also just so much fun to watch Trainspotting as well. And the performances, of course, are great. And, young Ewan McGregor and everything like that. And this, I promise this was not planned. And speaking of Ewan McGregor, when we come back, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to watch the trailer for The End of Oak Street, starring Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway. And I promise I did not plan this. It just kind of happened. And in all honesty, what's so funny, Jen, is until right now, I didn't even realize the connection. Even though I knew he was in it, of course, because I've watched the trailer a couple times.
Deep in your subconscious. You made it happen subconsciously because you're that powerful. You're that good.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be right back with our reactions to the trailer for The End of Oak Street. Okay, so it's that time. Hit pause on us, and then you can click the link in the show notes for the trailer for The End of Oak Street. Watch that. And if you don't want to, or you've already watched it, just keep listening to us, and we'll be back in a matter of seconds with our thoughts. Okay, so we just watched the trailer, and I had told Jen before we started that I picked this trailer for The End of Oak Street for a very particular reason. I mean, there was another reason that I was like, this is going to be this might be a huge movie this summer, so I think we should watch the trailer for it. I love the cast. But the writer and director, David Robert Mitchell, did the movie that Jen and I just adore, It Follows. And so I had to, because I was like, Jen's on, this is perfect. And I'm being very sarcastic here because spoilers, but you can go listen to our Twin It to Win It. We don't like that movie. We know everybody loves that movie. We don't like it. So that was a big reason I chose this, was that for you, Jen. So you're welcome.
Yes, I had a very physical reaction when I saw it. I was like, oh, Jesus. And I saw you cracking up. I was like, oh, she's evil. She's all like,
But other than that, it does have dinosaurs, or it looks like dinosaurs.
Yes, it goes with the summer reading theme. So go to the theater and unearth this story. Or not, because it's directed by the It Follows guy. Whatever. Do what you want to do. Also, I saw, J.J. Abrams' name was attached to it. So I was like, yes, lens flare. And then It Follows guy. And I was like, ooh, a nap. And then,
Ooh, a nap.
but I have to say, it looks like a lot of fun, with the dinosaurs and everything, because, dinosaurs are cool. I love and hate, but mostly love Ewan McGregor's wardrobe because he had on some short shorts. He's like very, what is that, like 80s dad wear? Like,
yeah, it's very dad coded.
So it's like, even when like the first shot of the trailer with all the family sitting around the table, he's wearing some sort of like pattern Hawaiian kind of shirt. And it didn't look like him for a second. Like, I was just like, that is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, and I love Anne Hathaway, and then the whole line about like when he's like, God's watching over us, and she's like, you go to church twice a year. And I love that. I think that's fantastic. And then again, he's wearing like very period clothing. He's got the short shorts. So I'm in it for the short shorts and the dinosaurs and Anne Hathaway. I almost look at this as like that in between times of the Jurassic Park movies when the dinosaurs have all running loose. Like, this is that in between, like the Jurassic Park and Jurassic Worlds or whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. But just like, oh no, the dinosaurs are loose. Or are they dinosaurs from space? Either way, I think it is going to be a fucking hoot. I could see maybe it doing all right in the theaters, as you said, like a summer blockbuster. You got the names and everything. I can also see it becoming maybe like more of like a cult favorite, because I feel like you would appreciate this more if you were not 100% sober. So like the legal things where you live and that are still illegal where I live is what I'm specifically talking about. Thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah, I mean, I am not a fan of It Follows. But it's hard because there are a lot of filmmakers that I love that make bad movies. Like, they'll make a bad movie. And this looks like this is the biggest budget movie he's ever made, as far as I know. I'm pretty positive on that. So this is like a huge chance for him, I'm sure. And it looks like a lot of fun. I have to say, I am not a Jurassic Park person. I don't really like the Jurassic Park movies, but this looks like so much fun. I adore Ewan McGregor so much, and it also brings me a little bit of joy and a little bit of sadness that my mom can't watch this, because my mom adored Ewan McGregor so much. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how much my mom loved Ewan McGregor. It's like on the level of like how much I love like, Christian Bale and stuff like that. Like, she would be, like, I got a memory the other day of me saying, I just love how much my mom loves Ewan McGregor. It's just her texting about these shows or different things she's watching with him. And she used to watch, because he did this thing where, with his brother, I think it was, where they would travel with their motorcycles across different, I can't remember what it's called because I didn't really watch it. My sister did and my mom did.
I kind of recall, yeah.
Yeah, and my mom loved that. And I mean, my mom would have never watched Trainspotting, but a lot of his movies she watched and loved, and he was like her favorite celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of is like that bittersweet thing of like, oh, this is kind of one that my mom could have watched, and, and stuff like that. And also, going to the Anne Hathaway thing, this is like Anne Hathaway's year. She is like in everything. Yeah. She has The Devil Wears Prada 2, that Mother Mary, that other movie that's coming out with Dakota Johnson and Josh Hartnett that we watched a trailer a few weeks ago. Now I can't remember the name of it. It's like that kind of like, it reminds me of like a 90s like thriller, like Basic Instinct style kind of. And now I can't remember the name of it, but it's based on a Colleen Hoover novel, which is like, no, that's not appealing.
No, I've never read any of her books. I just know that she's very popular. She's, she's kind of one of the bigger, I guess, author names.
I haven't read any of her books, but I've watched a couple of the movies based on her books, and they're so stupid and awful that it's like, okay. Because I'll never forget, I showed that when we talked about, it was the pop culture episode the week of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And Adrian and Ashley were on. And they were all in until until I told them who wrote the book. And then they're like, oh, really? But anyway, it's Anne Hathaway's year, and I think that's awesome. I think that's great. She gets way too much hate from the public, and I'm glad that she's having this amazing year. So I think that's great, and I think this looks like a lot of fun. I'm going to definitely see it. This looks like one that needs to be seen on the big screen, and it definitely looks like a summer flick. And it's kind of funny because it has a Spielbergy vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he's got that movie Disclosure Day coming out in a couple of weeks, which is about aliens. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Kind of almost feels like, I don't know, two sides of the same coin in a way, or they kind of go together. So I'm excited about it, even with David Robert Mitchell being the writer and director.
This one already is brighter and more entertaining. So
there still is that sequel coming, Jen.
But why? It's been so long. This is one no one wants. You and I don't
was going to say a lot of people want it, actually. We're the only people that don't want it. We're the only ones that are what?
Really? Listen, if the clamshell e-reader texting thing comes back, then fine. And as long as they merch that, fine. But if they don't do anything with that weird clamshell fucking texting thing that no one knows what it was.
I forgot about
fans,
that.
I don't think they know what it is. It seems to do all these things way more than anyone else in that fucking movie. I'm sorry, I won't go on about that movie. But the clamshell thing I would like to see as maybe a merch. That would be the only thing I can own from that movie.
No, hey, I'm with you. I loved that we were both on the same page with that movie because people love that movie so much. I'm sure some of you are yelling at us right now. I think that movie is one of the most boring, stupid horror movies I've ever seen in my life. And I don't like most of the characters. So it's okay, whatever. So I don't need It Still Follows. Okay, whatever. It's still hanging out naked on rooftops.
Yeah. Are you gonna bang a beach of boys or not bang the beach of boys? I don't care. What you do on your beach is your business.
But the end of Oak Street does look like fun. So I will definitely be seeing it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, well, speaking of movies that should be seen on the big screen, when we come back, I wanted us to talk about this because even though I know Jen hasn't seen Backrooms or Obsession, or I don't think you've seen Iron Lung, the success that Backrooms and Obsession are experiencing right now, and I'm going to have to update some of the numbers with you because they've been updating every day, is unprecedented, really. It's incredible. And so when we come back, we're going to talk about the success of those movies that are helmed by YouTubers. And so was Iron Lung, and talk about what we hope Hollywood gains from this or learns from this, or will they learn anything? And because I want to talk about this because I think it would be too weird to ignore this. So we'll be right back. Okay, so, and this is from an article in Variety dated June 2nd. So that's why I say dated, because stuff has changed. The gross number has increased. The records it's breaking of both Backrooms and Obsession has changed too. So I'm going to give you a couple of updates on that. From Variety, this past weekend marked a tectonic shift in Hollywood that sent shockwaves across the industry. Backrooms, a horror film born out of a 4chan creepypasta and produced for around $10 million, opened to an extraordinary $81 million, smashing records for distributor A24. And Obsession, a horror film made on a budget of $750,000, grossed $26.4 million in its third weekend of release. And this is what's also just unheard of. That was a 10% jump from the previous weekend. That doesn't happen.
Wow.
And the second weekend, it was a jump from the first weekend. Usually you will see steady declines.
Mm-hmm.
That has not happened. And it crossed $100 million domestically. Meanwhile, The Mandalorian and Grogu, a Star Wars spinoff with a $165 million price tag, came in third, tumbling 70% in its second weekend.
Damn.
And its opening weekend was the lowest ever for a Star Wars film under Disney.
Damn.
This is unheard of, okay? This doesn't happen. People definitely are thinking, hey, it's a Star Wars movie. It's going to gross a lot of money. So for that to happen and to have that big of a drop, that is, it makes me very happy. I'm sorry. I know people love that, but for me personally, it makes me happy because I'll talk about why after I let Jenn talk. And then also I want to mention Iron Lung because earlier this year, Iron Lung, a $3 million self-funded and self-distributed sci-fi horror flick from YouTube vet Markiplier Fishback, stunned box office analysts when it opened to $18.2 million. Over 2.5, I laughed at, I love that they put this in here, over 2.5 times the opening frame of Melania, despite that film costing $75 million. So that was a self-funded, self-distributed, that wasn't even distributed by huge distributor like A24 or Blumhouse or Focus Features like for these others. So that is even a bigger thing to look at too. And also the ages. Kane Parsons is 20 years old, who did Backrooms. And then Curry Parker is 26. So I did want to quickly update before I ask you, Jenn, what you hope Hollywood maybe learns from this or how maybe it can change the industry. I do want to just update a couple of things with these numbers. So Backrooms has surpassed Everything Everywhere All at Once to become A24's second highest grossing film at the worldwide box office. It opened last weekend, okay? So it's only been open for a week. And Backrooms has officially become the first A24 film to cross the $100 million mark at the domestic box office. Obsession crossed the $150 million mark at the global box office, and this was on June 3rd. This coming weekend, it'll be the first film in Focus Features history to ever hit $200 million worldwide. And this is the other thing I just quickly want to share, and then I'll go to you here. But Obsession has been increasing during the week, too.
Oh, wow.
So Tuesday, week 1, it made $3.6 million on a Tuesday. Tuesday, week 2, $5.5 million. Tuesday, week 3, so we're recording this on Friday, June 5th, $5.7 million. So that is incredible.
Right.
So Jenn, I know you haven't seen either of these, but I don't think that's really the important part of this, of whether or not you've seen them, although I do. I'm not, Backrooms didn't personally work for me, but I'm very excited for its success. But I do recommend people go and watch these, especially if you're horror fans. But what do you hope Hollywood learns from this? Or do you think they'll learn anything? Or what do you think this is also saying about Gen Z? Because Gen Z actually goes to the movie theaters more than most of us do. Just to let you know.
Good for them. I'll just get off your phones. No.
Yeah.
Well, I would hope that studios would finally learn their fucking lesson and take chances. Take chances on movies that aren't big name, aren't franchised, aren't huge corporate tie-ins or anything like that. I think people have always longed for original stories and movies and everything, but you have the bigger studios that aren't willing to do that. Perhaps now, maybe because Obsession and Backrooms are doing so well, but I think because they're the bigger studios, they're going to fuck it up. You know what I mean? There's something about these more, I'll kind of quote, like independently made, outside of the big realm of corporate, big studios and stuff that, I don't know. I feel like, sorry, my computer did a weird thing and it just kind of glitched my brain for a minute. So I lost my train of thought. But it would be great if the studios could follow suit and do more original stories and be more hands off and let the writers and the directors like really do it well for them. Because, you know, that's when shit gets all fucked up, when studios and producers are like, no, don't do this, and this. Like, no, shut up and let the people fucking do their job. And I love that you said Iron Lung was a creepypasta. Or was that?
No. That's Backrooms.
Backrooms? Okay. So I love that. And I think there are some really, really good creepypastas out there that can make some really great horror movies or even like shorts or whatever in the right hands. So I love that like Gen Z is kind of going out and like doing it themselves, these YouTubers and everything, creating stuff that like they want, that they could see. Like it's almost like creepypasta is what probably Gen Z's like, quote, childhood. So it's that like, it is still in a way following that suit of let's bring stuff back from our childhood into adulthood and revisit that, but maybe on that more adult level. Like, let's make these creepypastas really fucking creepy. Let's make these stories really good or whatever. I think that these young people have the right idea and imagination and clearly the skill and ability to make a dent in the movie industry. I know some people are like, oh, but they're a YouTuber, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that really matters if they're very, very, very good at what they do. YouTube's been around for how fucking long now? And some people, like, they were raised by it. They've been making videos since they were like maybe 5 or 6, like just doing stuffy plays and everything. Like, I'm sure a 20-year-old can cut a movie much faster and better than I can edit audio. And I've been doing that for 6 years. Okay? And it's like, okay. So the other day I was watching like a horror movie kind of documentary thing, Tubi. And it's an older one, and it talks about all the 70s, 80s, 90s horror movies, why we love them, all of that. And I'm going to suck at this part because I can't remember any of the details, but I remember them talking about like there was like some guy that was like a fan of, let's say, like John Carpenter or something, and like remade one of his movies on an old VHS and with some buddies and everything, and did such a good job that he got a directing gig. So this dude, who I don't know because I can't retain information, but I remember hearing that and thinking about this and how that is truly no different than YouTubers that are talented making it big, right? Back in our day, we had our VHS tapes. We didn't have anywhere to send them, like upload them to or anything. But on the off chance someone saw it, you would get praised for it, right? Like kids that were really, not me. I wasn't doing that stuff. So it just all kind of feels like the same thing, but like updated. You know what I mean? If that makes sense in that sense. It almost reminds me like when people want to complain about this YouTubers and everything, making it big, it just seems very boomer, get off my lawn, old man yelling at clouds. Just don't be haters. You're just mad. All these people think being a YouTuber is so easy. You just sit in front of the camera. Do you know how to edit that shit and do all the, I'm sure there's tools that make it fairly easy, but like these motherfuckers couldn't program their fucking VCRs. And they're going to talk shit about a 20-year-old that's making a living off of it. Like, they're just haters. They're just jerks. So I kind of almost look at it as a generational thing, ongoing. There's going to be a new set of olds, and they're always going to be mad at what the youngs are doing. And then a generation later, those youngs are going to be the olds, and there'll probably be things that those youngs are going to be doing to annoy them. And one thing I kind of related to is like the electric scooters. I don't know if that's a problem out where you're at, but around these here parts, people are complaining a lot about the kids on the electric scooters. And I get it because they do just fly through stop signs and everything while they're in the street. But I want to know, is that different than bicycles or rollerblades or roller skates or skateboards or unicycles? It's always something. And it's always going to be something. So I think Gen Z, like, keep it up, make the fresh, new stuff, do your thing, fuck the haters, and yeah, end of rant. I felt
You
like
don't want to hear my opinion on those scooters and dirt bikes because I fucking hate them. Well, they've almost run me over a few times. They run through the flippin' grocery store parking lots, not paying attention.
Mhm.
They've like caused so many different accidents. Like, I understand what you're saying, but to me, it's very different because it's like these motorized vehicles, basically,
Yeah.
that these little kids that don't know what they're doing are just running through and they don't pay attention to where they're going. And having almost been run over by them, having them circle around here making so much noise all the time. I'm sorry. Everybody out there can call me a Karen if you want to. I don't care. I think they're dangerous. And I think it's I hate them I really have a real issue with them because they've almost run us over a few times. So I don't know. I mean, people still ride their bikes. That to me is a little bit different than, and the roller skates and stuff. So I guess I'm one of those people, but I'm sorry after like.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say like, and that's fine for them to do. It's not, but they're kids and kids are stupid and they're going to do stupid things. You can teach them all you want. You could literally or figuratively beat the lessons into their head. They're kids. As soon as they're out the door, they're going to do whatever the fuck they want, whether you like it or not. And that means making dumbass decisions of riding their fucking scooters in the road and not following traffic laws. And I don't wish for this to happen, but something extreme will have to happen for them to actually, no, they're not going to do anything because school shootings are still a thing. What am I saying? They don't care about the kids. Sorry, I was like, maybe something bad has to happen for them to, no, nothing. Something bad could happen and no one's going to learn a fucking lesson.
They took over the highway here. They took over the highway. They literally took over a highway here. On dirt bikes. Yes, they took over a highway. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just very like, just yesterday, literally yesterday, two of them came tearing through on the sidewalk, through over grass when it's dry as hell, and almost ran both of us, and almost ran me and Fergie over. But I'm going to stop talking about that now because it's just.
Yes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like.
It's one of there's so many of them over here. It's really annoying. Anyway, yes, I agree. I agree a lot with what you've said. I think, and the thing is, though, a lot of people criticizing them aren't just older people. It's younger people, too. It's people that are, as someone who's been in the film fan space and that space for decades, longer than any other fandom, it's typical of that space. It's the snobbery. It's the, like there's already, I've seen so many posts that are just like this cool, like, oh, I hated both of these movies because blah, 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 blah. And it's like just trying to find a cool way to hate it. It's one thing. It's fine if you don't like it. Like I said, Backrooms didn't really work for me. I wasn't a big fan of it. However, I think it's awesome that it's worked for so many people. I think it's awesome it's making so much money. I think Kane Parsons really shows like real talent. And he did, I guess, a lot of shorts about Backrooms on YouTube. That was his big thing. Okay. So that's kind of what he started out with. I know Moth, they are very big into this. So that would be someone that would know a lot more than I did. When I went and saw it at the Alamo, they did have a little brief like prepping thing, like a primer for you to get used to like what the Backrooms are for people like me that had no idea. And so I'm very excited about that. But I do think some of the people that are complaining, and yes, there's definitely the old school thing, but some of the people complaining are people that's paid a lot of money, went to film school, and aren't having this success. And it's jealousy. The other part of it is film snobbery, where they feel like you can't be a cool filmmaker. I guess Quentin Tarantino is the exception to these people. But it's a lot of film bros, of course.
Of course.
Are like, no, you can't. You have to have that, like, you have to really, really study and work hard. And I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about because it takes a lot to do what they're doing. Making YouTube content is not like you just upload a video that you shot on your phone. Although, I mean, they might shoot things on their phone, but it's not just that. You have to edit it. And trust me, as someone, I went to film school and I'm not going to knock these people at all. Editing sucks. But editing is like, some people love it, but editing makes or breaks anything. It is the saving grace of a film. It can make a performance better than it has any right to be. Editing is like the heart of a film in a lot of respects, as far as like it's the thing that'll make it. And so when you're making this YouTube content, you're having to edit and edit and edit. And what you are seeing, those couple of minutes, probably took days, weeks to put together. That's a lot of work. And for like Curry Barker, he like edited his movie as well. He wrote it, he directed, and he edited it. That's a lot of work there. For Kane Parsons, he recently was on an interview, and this is totally, I guess, different, but I don't think it is. And he was asked about AI because they're like, you're anti-AI. And he's like, yeah. And he says it in this way that I loved, because you watch the expression on his face and he's like, well, yeah, why wouldn't I be? I'm an artist. Why would I be for AI? And he talked about that and how it just takes him out of the process or out of enjoying something if he learns AI has been used. So that gives me a lot of hope right now when you have people like fucking Martin Scorsese being like embracing AI. So be more like these young people. And I think the other really amazing thing about this is these are young people. This is a new generation. And a new generation is going to the movie theaters. You have young people going to the movie theaters more than older people. I love that because I fear losing movie theaters. And so having these movies be so successful and having people go back again and again to watch the movies, it just makes my heart feel really, really warm inside. I know that sounds cheesy, but it's true. Like Obsession was supposed to get its digital release, like I think next Tuesday. They have pushed that back. That is incredible to me. I love it. It makes me so happy.
And I'm happy, but as someone who doesn't go to theaters, I'm like, man.
I know, but it's
no,
better. It's better for the industry. It's
I
better for like the future of movie theaters. And so it just, go to the movie theaters, people. It makes me so happy that this is happening, because I have been so worried that there's the death of the movie theater. You have people like Netflix, it just came out today. Netflix was saying, like they'd yell at directors. They tell directors, you can't ask us to give you a theatrical release for your movies. So you have that kind of stuff. But then when you have this happen, it just gives me hope. However, I know Hollywood. I know how that system works. They're not going to learn the right lesson from this, is what I fear. What they're going to take away is, okay, we need to make a whole series of Backrooms movies. That's what we need to do. We need to copy, paste. We're going to make a whole series of Obsession movies. And we're going to make like a whole universe for all of these. And we're just going to repeat this and repeat this. When that should not be the lesson. The lesson should be take chances, take risks. I love that this is happening in horror, and it makes sense to me that it would happen in horror. And I think Iron Lung is also a horror movie. And it makes sense that it would happen in that because the horror fans and the horror audience is very loyal, and they will go to horror movies in the theaters. And horror is generally cheaper to make, and it makes a lot more money because of that. And so it makes sense, but I also hope this bleeds over into other genres as well. And I just really want people to take chances, and not just on white guys. I do want to point that out. These are some white guys. So I do want to point that out. That is important to say. But I just think it's great. It's wonderful. And I'm ready for more of it to happen. And I hope Hollywood, and I don't think they will, but I hope what they learn from this is fresh new content. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of you love the Grogu. I haven't watched it, and I probably never will, to be quite honest. It's not a knock on it. It's just not my thing. And I know most of you love that, and I understand that. But it does bring me a little bit of joy that it did not do as well, just because that is more. And I don't mean this like, I'm not trying to insult the quality, because like I said, I haven't seen, but it's more like that, the same, churning out the same stuff over and over and over again. It's that not learning the lesson, not wanting to create new original content. Mm-hmm. So, that's what I hope Hollywood learns from this. I don't think they will. But for now, I just want to celebrate this because this is incredible. when I've seen Obsession twice in the movie theater, and the first time was on a Monday night, and that theater was packed.
Oh.
Second time was on a Sunday at 10:15 in the morning, and it was a pretty full theater.
Wow.
That to me says something. When I've gone on just to see out of curiosity, I do this all the time when it's movies that I love and I want more people to see them. And I'll look at the show times just to see. And consistently, they've been full and full and full and full. And same for Backrooms. And that just brings me unending joy. And, for me personally, of course, it brings me joy that Obsession is doing so well because I fucking love that movie. So it brings me a level of joy, and the amount of analysis that film has received. And that also brings me joy when a film can make people really want to look deeply at it and the themes it's trying to explore. And I just am so happy for both of them. And I really can't wait to see what else they do. And I'm so happy also to hear Kane Parsons not wanting to embrace AI. And kudos to Steven Spielberg for today saying, oh, this is so great that this is happening. I really enjoy that. Mark Duplass, who is in Backrooms, made a video today about celebrating the success of Obsession and Backrooms. And I just think this is great. And I really wish that I had hope that this means stuff will change. But for now, I am just going to hang on to the joy of this. So yay. Yay. And see how I can say, I didn't like Backrooms, but I'm so flippin' excited for its success.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do this, people.
Yes. That's what I'm kind of wondering, when we were talking about like the jealous snobs, just the all around haters, like why can't, we're in 2026 now. Have we not learned to just like support each other? You don't have to like you said, love the movie or maybe even like the director, but you can't appreciate the process and the work that went into it as fellow filmmakers. No, you just want to poop on it and be buttheads that poop on things.
Mm-hmm.
It's unreal to me. Yeah. Like I said, it's like I know we're also going backwards, but we're in 2026. Why can't we just be like, hey, I didn't care for it, but I think like you said, everything you said about Backrooms didn't work for me, but really fucking happy for it. And more of that. And I think if we can come together and be collectively supportive, all movie fans or whatever, then maybe we will get more original stories and more original movies and scripts. Because when you've got these film students poo-pooing on, quote, amateurs, I'm big air quotes for that because you're not really an amateur if you've got a movie fucking out in the theaters. But like when you've got these film students poo-pooing on these amateurs, you're creating that divide. And then what? Hollywood's probably going to look at the credited filmmakers and be like, well, they didn't like that. And go, you know what I mean? And be like, no, let's just keep pumping out more of the same. Because, Hollywood isn't going to learn their lesson. Like, I loved Black Phone. I thought it was amazing. I have not seen the second one because I'm like, it didn't need a second one. And I don't know if you saw it or what you think of it, but I also didn't feel like the movie ended where a sequel was at all necessary. So again, there's still this kind of like, well, this did really well, so let's just keep milking that. No. How about not? All the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked the Black Phone too better than some people I know, but it wasn't necessary. I mean, it was entertaining, but it wasn't necessary. It wasn't something that needed to be made. And there were a few things in it that I just didn't really kind of like. And I also thought it was, I'm not going to go, because then I'll go on this whole thing about Colorado and everything, because, it takes place in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's always saying and screaming that they want original content and they're sick of franchises and they're sick of superhero movies and they're sick of blah, blah, blah. And this should tell you that people really do want that. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it's younger people, I just want to stress that, because I really think that is one of the most important takeaways from this, is that it's not people like in our generation. And I'm not saying that like because we should go see these too, but that gives me hope, because then that lets me know that the younger generation isn't all about just streaming. They're also a generation that is looking into physical media more, and all of that. That makes me so happy. So this has just been like such a joy every day to look and see like how much success they have had. And, every day there's being new numbers broken and everything like that. And that makes me so happy. And I want to say, bravo to you, Blumhouse, because I had lost all faith in you for the most part, because you became just, you were a studio that was thought of as taking chances. And then you just you saw the money and you just kind of went that way. But now you're back to taking chances. And I really want to say, I'm sure you're very happy about this. So please learn that that's what you need to do, is stick with taking those chances and taking those risks. And yeah, so go if you can. I know going to the movies is expensive, but if you can, go to the theater. And I know for a lot of theaters, it's an annoying experience at times, but please try and go and see these movies on a big screen, because some of them, like Backrooms Obsession, there are certain things that, because it's kind of dark in certain areas, might be better to see on a big screen. That kind of stuff. I understand why people wait, but at the same time, if you can, go and see them. And also just just be happy about this. And the last thing I'll say, I'm sorry, I know we were going kind of long on this, but the last thing I want to add is the thing I've heard people complain about with Backrooms is there was this whole unfounded rumor started, and Mark Duplass even jumped in to defend Kane Parsons, where someone said, well, that there was somebody else directing this.
Oh, jeez.
Because they're not going to give that much money to a kid. He's 20. That's not a kid. And I understand he's young. But if you go watch one interview with him, if you don't believe Mark Duplass, who was there on the set, if you don't believe other people, go watch an interview with Kane Parsons. And if you can tell me that you don't think that person could handle a film set, or isn't like mature enough or respectable enough or like whatever, then I don't know what to tell you, because I was watching his interview and I'm like, you're 20 years old. There's no way you're 20 years old. And the people interviewing him were like, our age and a little bit older, were like, you're 20 years old.
He's an old soul.
Yes, exactly. So, yay. So, applause to both of you, and applause to the success of those movies, and applause to Iron Lung earlier this year as well. So, yay. Hopefully we get more of this. Okay, well, that'll do it for this episode of Pop Culture and Fandom News. Thanks for going on that ride. Thanks for listening to me bitch about motorized dirt bikes and scooters. Thank you. It's mainly the dirt bikes that I hate.
See, here it's mostly just the scooters, the e-scooters, the dirt bikes.
Yeah, there are those too.
We're Wisconsin, and there's enough ATV trails that I mean, don't get me wrong, they still zip around at night, and I'm like, we left the city because it's supposed to be fucking quieter out here. So, yeah.
But thank you for joining me, Jen. So we're going to go ahead and close out. And Jen, tell everybody about my streaming bubble and where they can find it.
My Streaming Bubble is the podcast where I talk about the streamable media I love with people I tolerate. And I tolerate Erin frequently because she's very tolerable. And
sometimes until I go off on e-scooters and dirt bikes.
And yeah, new episodes on Sundays. You can listen on a podcast player near you, probably the one you're listening to right now, because that would be the closest. If there's one closer to you, that's interesting. Tell me more. And you can follow me on your preferred socials. Just search My Streaming Bubble and I will pop on up there for you. And then go ahead and do all those same things for Erin and I's podcast, Twin It to Win It, where we try to guess how the other feels about different horror movies. We will not be covering Obsession because I know we all know how Erin feels about that one. You can listen to us on podcast players like Pandora. No, we aren't on Pandora.
No, we're not
there.
on Pandora. It's because of you.
Yeah, it is because of me. Because they don't want my show because they're haters and also poop heads. So, suck on that, Pandora. Okay, I'm done.
You can listen to us talk very glowingly. I can't even get through that. Talk about It Follows. I understand that's an original content. You're all out there poo-pooing me because of everything we just said. I understand the irony. Okay, I get it. I get it.
We totally are just like, oh, it's that guy. I ain't fucking watching that movie. Fuck that guy. He can't make a movie. And we're all like, support all the movies.
I get the irony, everybody.
That's hilarious.
But we do have a lot of fun on there. I'm taking Jenn also on a trip through the Halloween universe. I heard recently that they're no longer going to be doing the TV series that I was actually looking forward to.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. Anyway, I can survive because I know that's a franchise. I understand the irony there too, okay? I understand everybody. If it means we get more stuff like Obsession and Backrooms, I'm fine with it, I guess. No, I'm fine with it. Anyway, so Fergie, the dog, is going to be so excited to watch Obsession, mainly because of one thing. Well, the whole movie, but, she has a thing about cats, and so she's going to be very excited about this. I'm sorry, everybody. She got swatted by a cat the other day.
Oh, poor Fergie.
Anyway, sorry. I'm sorry, Fergie, but she's a cute dog that loves horror, Abbott Elementary, and true crime. When I went and saw Trainspotting last night, I left on Dateline for her. Yes, that's what we leave on the television. When we leave, it's Dateline, not a dog TV thing. Nope, Dateline. But you can follow her on TikTok at Schroeder and Fergs. That's SCHROEDERANDFERGS. It's long, but it's worth it. To find links to all our past episodes and links to our social media, including our Discord server, head on over to our website. It's afandomthingpod.com. And while you're there, consider becoming a Patreon supporter today. For as little as $3 a month, you get ad-free content, you get episodes a day early, and you get bonus episodes. We will be doing a bonus episode talking about season 5 of The Bear. Later this year, we will be doing an episode talking about the vampire Lestat. And I am going to be doing an episode soon talking about things I'm really into and love. And of course, you're going to hear lots of stuff about Obsession. It's going to be spoiler filled. And then I'll also be complaining about The Boys some more. And then I'll probably also be celebrating this some more. And who knows if I'll be talking about scooters and e-bikes and scooters and dirt bikes and stuff. Maybe even that. But become a Patreon supporter today. Click the link in the show notes or head on over to the Support Us tab on our website, which once again is itsafandomthingpod.com. And this is the longest we've gone with just me and one other person in a long time. So thank you, Jenn.
But it's me, so.
No, I think this is a great conversation. I really could have talked about this whole thing for a whole episode, to be honest. And maybe we'll do that as a bonus. Hey, maybe we'll do that as a bonus. Yeah. But Friday, Jenn will be back to talk about Bound. So until next time, remember, it's a fandom thing. Black Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate, and Free Palestine.